Stray Kids' DominATE tour is widely recognized as not only their biggest tour, but the biggest tour in K-pop history. With over 50 shows across 4 continents, they've shattered records and pushed boundaries most artists never even approach. However, what happens on stage is only part of their tour. There's a much deeper layer to touring, one filled with physical exhaustion, mental pressure, and the constant demand to be at your best. At first glance, performing for nearly 3 hours every other night might sound manageable, but when you really consider everything going on behind the scenes, the constant travel, the intense rehearsals, the media obligations, and the high energy performances themselves, it's clear just how draining it is. This isn't a weekend festival or a short local run, this is a global tour stretching over many months, and it's the grind that takes a real toll on their mind and body. So how do they keep going? Well, Stray Kids actually travel with a dedicated physician. This isn't just for show, having medical support on hand helps them recover faster from physical strain, manage their vocal health, and take care of their injuries before they become serious. Felix has even talked about sipping honey water before going on the stage, a simple trick to soothe vocal cords. Chances are, the other members do something similar too, and with how intense the choreographies Stray Kids have, it's practically a necessity that they know and understand how to care for themselves properly. We hear about them sleeping during the day quite frequently, whether that's while they're waiting at the venue or back at their hotel. They're always trying to get the most rest that they can. Seungmin even mentioned sleeping for 17 to 18 hours straight when he first arrived in Seattle. While they're touring, lacking sleep can become a stressful situation. Stray Kids need their bodies to be as ready as possible, so fighting to fall asleep at nights can become a worrying area. This is where sleeping extra during the day can become almost a hazard, as it can limit their ability to sleep when they need to the most. For Changbin, he's practically got a routine down in this situation. Whenever he's struggling to sleep, he goes on Netflix to watch a movie. That way, he can relax and get his mind off of whatever was keeping him up. Of course, the group tries to nap during low-risk times, like on show days or right after performances. Poor sleep can lead to mistakes or injuries, and with how intricate their routines are, they must be sharp mentally and physically. Plus, with all that movement, they burn a ton of calories. They need to eat, like, a lot. Since May, Felix has been needing to prioritize his health during performances. For a few years now, he's struggled with back pain, leading him to need to step to the side or ease up on his choreographies. While he could take the easy way around this and sit out the show altogether, his drive to put on a strong performance kept him in it. This kind of dedication is true for all the members. Think about it, 34 cities on this tour, and each venue requires at least one full rehearsal before the show. Some cities hosted multiple nights, and before any of that, the group spends countless hours practicing to make sure everything runs smoothly. Even before the tour was announced, Stray Kids were already deep in preparation. Not just rehearsing their set list, but also conditioning their bodies, learning new skills, and garnering the stamina needed to survive nearly a year-long tour. From what we know, Stray Kids began practicing their solo stages roughly a month before the tour began. That might sound like a decent chunk of time to learn one song, but that wasn't the only song they needed to learn. There were several additional performances that were added into the set list, on top of the fact so many choreographies were adjusted for the scale of the stage. Each solo stage is entirely unique, a new choreography, new arrangements, and for a few of them, new performance styles. It was important that each member could shine through and show absolutely everything they had to offer. Something interesting is that Stray Kids learned the full choreography for Mountains in just a day. Felix himself said that was incredibly fast, even for them. That kind of speed only happens when the team trusts the choreography and their own skills to nail it under pressure. While we don't see it outright, it's safe to assume the members helped each other out while learning it, something we have seen them do plenty times before. Their stage rehearsals started just 1 week before the first show, which is an incredibly small window given the complexity of the tour's production. Performing inside of various practice rooms can only go so far. It's important that they run through it on the real deal too. Most of the songs in the set list were adapted specifically for the live environment, with added transitions, extended intros, and moments designed for crowd engagement. Touring with a live band only added to the scale and cinematic feel of DominATE. While 3RACHA likely weren't the ones directly rearranging the tracks, they almost certainly oversaw and approved every change. These preparations didn't stop once the tour began. Almost every stop included a rehearsal show the day before the official concert. These aren't quick run-throughs, as they perform the entire set, often without costumes, just to adjust to the venue's size and sound. Then on concert day, there's a final sound check, which is more like a warm-up and a ritual for the fans and the group. Even minutes before stepping on stage, the members are still preparing, stretching, warming up their voices, and going over choreography one last time. These small moments, often caught in behind-the-scenes clips, reveal just how much energy it takes just to start the show. It's easy to think the hard work ends once the tour begins, but really, it's a daily grind. Performing nearly 60 times around the world means they have to stay ready every single day, no exceptions. However, they still get time to themselves, and during a tour as intense as DominATE, these moments to pause are rather meaningful breaks from the tour that allow the members to recharge in their own ways. With nearly a year on the road, it's essential that the members get to rest and explore the area. These breaks help prevent burnout, give their bodies a chance to recover, and give the members space to stay grounded as individuals. Everyone has their own way of spending downtime. Some prefer solo time, others hang out in pairs, and sometimes the whole group sticks together. Bangchan, for example, finds comfort in familiar things. On tour, he swam at night, met an old friend in Sydney, visited family, and met with his sister again in San Francisco. But even then, he rarely steps away from music. He often brings his laptop and writes or produces music whenever he has free time. Well, we don't necessarily see him producing at the venues, but I'm assuming he wasn't just staring at his home screen there. For Chan and the other 3RACHA members, making music is more than just work. It's a way to relax and connect with something they love, even in unfamiliar places. In the San Francisco vlog, we see 3RACHA meeting up in Chan's hotel room to work on music all together. Other members used off days to explore new places and their individual hobbies. Seungmin took the chance to shop for jerseys in different cities, something we've seen him do consistently through their North America leg. Hyunjin visited local museums, attended galleries, and continued painting and sketching in hotel rooms. Lino and Han shared a relaxed brunch before their show, though, to be fair, they call it breakfast, but it's really more like brunch because they slept in so long. There's a physical side to these breaks too. Several members will go to the gym to maintain their stamina and clear their minds. For quite a lot of them, gym time has become a regular off-day routine. Then there's the quieter downtime, playing video games, passing around plush toys, or just hanging out together backstage. These small moments help the group stay connected and avoid burnout. Touring can get lonely, and even just sitting silently with each other helps reset their energy. If you've been enjoying the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I love to make videos about stray kids, and we'd love to have you here. Food also plays its role in their rest. Trying local dishes blends downtime with cultural exploration. Stray kids enjoy finding something new to try, but they'll still eat a lot of Korean food, opting for something familiar when they get tired. Some members recharge best alone. Others enjoy being surrounded by the group, but regardless of how they spend their breaks, what matters is that they're doing what they can to take one. These moments of rest, even if they're brief, are essential not just for their bodies, but for their minds and spirits too. Truthfully, it's a reminder that stray kids are more than just these figures we see that perform endlessly. Beyond the stage, they're real people who get tired and burn out. And as people, they need time to breathe and exist outside of the spotlight. Idol life is incredibly hard work. They're expected to keep up a perfect image constantly, so taking breaks to heal mentally on top of physically is crucial. Another way they avoid burnout is by mixing up their shows and avoiding performing the same thing night after night. They're always pushing to evolve it. Across the many months of the DominATE tour, the group continuously upgraded and tweaked the production, keeping things fresh not only for fans, but for themselves. What started in Seoul looked very different by the time the tour reached Brazil or Los Angeles. And that's the whole point. From early on, the setlist was a flexible structure. Several changes were made throughout the tour, often reflecting new releases, fan preferences, or simply the desire to keep things fresh. One of the most noticeable shifts came in the solo stage section. While each member originally had a solo track, these were eventually rotated out in favor of unit stages, allowing them to showcase newer songs and deliver more engaging performances. Encore songs also rotated. Haven is a favorite Stray Kids have used, performing at the majority of stops, with Starlost not far behind. These kind of adjustments not only kept the members engaged, but also added a layer of unpredictability for fans. No two shows were exactly alike, and that exclusivity became part of the appeal. The styling adapted as well. In Seoul, they wore heavier, layered outfits with detailed coats and structured pieces fitting the grand debut. But in North America, their looks were lighter and more casual, more comfortable for those venues and the tour's energy. Throughout the months, hairstyles changed too, especially for Hyunjin. Not only did he get a buzz cut, but it also got new styles, giving fans exclusive looks tied to different tour legs. These changes reflected how the tour itself grew and responded to its environment. There was also a shift in the performances themselves. In the early stages of the tour, the group was understandably more focused. Stray Kids were debuting new choreography, syncing with the band, and executing a high-pressure show. As the tour progressed, their confidence grew, and so did the fluidity of their stage presence. Fan interactions became more relaxed and frequent, with members extending their talking segments, adding jokes, and breaking into spontaneous moments that made each show feel personal to that city. Localization was a big part of that connection. In Europe and Latin America, members added greetings and phrases in the local language, which became highlights of stays. They'd shout out local foods or landmarks using familiar words to bridge the distance. These small touches honored the global fan base while keeping the spirit of DominATE alive. However, DominATE wasn't cheap by any means. Every night of the tour was backed by a huge mountain of expenses. The staging alone is a major investment. Trapdoors, fireworks, and massive screens. They're engineered for fast setup and teardown, which requires specialized crews and equipments. Add in the cost of transporting that gear across continents, and things add up real quickly. Travel is one of the biggest line items. It's not just the members moving, there's also a full operation of people, stylists, tech crews, choreographers, translators, managers, and bodyguards. Commonly, they've traveled by commercial airlines, but in South America, they flew around by private jet. Each venue brings big fees. Arenas can charge tens or hundreds of thousands per night, plus extra for rehearsals, rigging, and insurance. Multiply that by multiple night stops, and the numbers scale quickly. Staffing too is intense. There's dozens of people behind the scenes at every show running the lighting, sound, and cameras. Meanwhile, marketing runs global campaigns, teaser videos, fan events, and influencer promos to keep momentum going. Then there's the merch. It's a huge part of the tour's revenue, but it costs a lot to get it there. They need designs, production, shipping, and on-site staff. Even content creation has a price. SKZ-TALKER-GO episodes and tour footage all require a traveling production crew, but they also add long-term value through post-tour monetization. And finally, you have everything that keeps the team running. The hotel costs, meals, rehearsal spaces, and a full-time physician traveling with them. On top of that are the legal and compliance costs like visas, labor permits, taxes, and customs. Add it all together, and a tour like DominATE likely costs somewhere between 50 to 60 million US dollars to execute, possibly even more. It's a massive risk, but one that shows how far Stray Kids have come. Tours like this don't just happen. They're built piece by piece, with every decision reinforcing just how global Stray Kids truly are. And while it's hard to say for sure just how much revenue Stray Kids brought in during the tour, we can say for sure it was a lot. As DominATE comes to a close, it's clear this tour was successful from a monetary standpoint, as well as being a growth chapter for the group. Stray Kids evolved, learned, and connected in ways that left a mark on every stage and every fan they met. The impact this year of touring left will certainly carry far beyond the final show. If you want to see what Stray Kids will likely do next, you can click the video on screen. Thanks for watching! Bye 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 bye.